What's happening, my people? Um, week three, mission number one. Today, we're going to be talking about the redemption and going to a little bit of detail about what redemption is um, and how we're going to go about it. And so, you know, we first the pre-training, remember, it was like the belief, how believing that escaping depression is possible, or putting a plan to escape depression is possible, just putting the plan, right? Is that possible? Yeah, we can put a plan for the to escape depression, right? And then we talked about the prison. We talked about the bio, the psycho, the social, in each wall of these prisons, and then the door, the bar door that's keeping us from really exiting the prison. So we are very familiar with where we are and what is depression and what's the prison and what's the walls and what are the walls that are keeping us there. And then week number two, we played with the idea of what if. Is it possible to really escape depression? We talked about studies that show that, if people do um, most of the task on a e-course on depression, like 50% of them get complete remission of depression. We talked about 90% of the people who having a diagnosis of depression is because of a traumatic adverse effect in their life. So if we help them heal through that, of course it's possible to take depression. So we talked about all of that. We talked about if then, what if today I can have an amazing day, what if today I can get the car, what if today I meet the girl of my dreams, what if today, right? And so playing with that. And then we talked about isolation and how much that impact us. We talked about how we can isolate ourselves very easily just because we're feeling in a state, um, with the recipe of feeling isolated. And about 50% of the world right now, studies show, that feels isolated. They say it's an epidemic. It's as bad, the risk factors of feeling isolated is almost as bad as smoking. So really important to look at that. We talked about sympathetic joy and what science shows us, that this really triggers mirror neurons, which is kind of like, we are looking at people as if it was us, like as a mirror. So somebody that has qualities that you want, instead of saying like rejecting them, because a lot of times that's what we do, because we don't have it yet, or because we haven't become that yet, then we reject them. And so sympathetic joy is a little exercise that helps us actually attract and be okay with having what that person has, or and at the same time sending them good thoughts, and that makes us feel pretty good. The other one is creative visualization. We talked about that. What's the importance of really thinking through um, what's going to happen, and how we want it to happen. And so that takes us into week number three. I love this week because this week brings a movie that I want to use that analogy for this, right? It's actually like um, taking the steps to actually create redemption, right? To redeem, to rebuild, to recreate our lives regardless of what's happened. And I want to show you guys a little clip of the movie, The Shawshank Redemption, just so that you can see it. And this is the clip, okay? And so, spoiler alert, major spoiler alert. If you haven't watched this movie, or if you're gonna watch it, like, this is gonna ruin it for you. But I want to share it because if you have watched it, this is a good reminder of what that movie does. Okay, it's like 3 minutes. Hang on, get some popcorn if you want. This is your time of indulgence right here, and just watch this because there is so many things that are similar to what we're going through right now. All right, so here it is. Let's do this right here, and I'm gonna play a big screen, and then let's go. Boom.
You think you'll ever get out of here? Me? Yeah. One day, when I got a long white beard and 2 or 3 marbles rolling around upstairs, they let me out. I'll tell you where I'd go. To Rotten Hill. To Rotten Hill.
place on the Pacific Ocean. You know what the Mexicans say about the Pacific? They say it has no memory. That's where I want to live the rest of my life. A warm place with no memory. Open up a little hotel right on the beach. Buy some worthless old boat and fix it up new. Take my guests out. Charter fishing.
Say what now?
In a place like that, I could use a man that knows how to get things.
I don't think I could make it on the outside, Andy. I've been in here most of my life. I'm an institutional man now. It's like Brooks was.
Wow, you underestimate yourself.
I don't think so. In here, I'm the guy who can get things for you, sure, but outside, all you need is the yellow pages. Hell, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Pacific Ocean? Shit. About to scare me to death, something that big.
Not me. I didn't shoot my wife and I didn't shoot her lover. Whatever mistakes I made, I paid for them and then some. That hotel, that book, I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think you ought to be doing this to yourself, Andy. This is just shitty pipe dreams. I mean, Mexico is way the hell down there, and you're in here, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, right. That's the way it is. It's down there and I'm in here. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living. Or get busy dying.
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
You think you'll ever get it?
Oh, right. And so I love this scene because in this scene, I think is exactly where we are in the process right now, right? And so we've talked about the prison and the walls that make up the prison of depression. We talked about every wall, right? And then we talked about the what if, and scientifically showing what the possibilities really are statistically of anybody overcoming depression through neuroscience and statistics. We talked about little techniques to improve the mirror neurons and our association with people who can actually help us pull out of the spiral. And then we're talking about redemption this weekend. So that little clip right there from the Shawshank Redemption is awesome because in here you can tell the protagonist, he's sharing his dream of like, hey, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go build another life in Mexico. And the Atlantic doesn't have a memory. I thought that was so cool that um, that it forgives you in a way, right? For whatever. And so, and then the other guy right away, he's like, man, I think you're just like hurting yourself with these dreams. And that's exactly like what happens in the world. Like, oh yeah, you think you're gonna do this little course over 30 days and then plan depression and that's it, or you think you're gonna exercise and eat well and work on the traumas and you think that that's it. um, like we do it to ourselves, and a lot of people can do it to us, where we're doubting the fact that this is possible, absolutely possible. And we doubt ourselves so much, and then if we're surrounded by people who do the same, yeah, it can hurt us a lot. But I love the certainty that he's like, nah, not me, man. I've paid, like, I didn't kill my wife, I didn't kill this guy, I didn't kill her lover, I am ready and whatever errors I've made, I paid for them. So the actual the actual definition of the word redemption, it actually means to reclaim back, to pay back what one has done, right? And so whatever it is that you've done in your life that you feel regretful about, that you feel pain about, that you feel ashameful about, like, look, whatever happened then, like, that you were standing on the values and in whatever it is that that person um that person that made that thing that you're shameful about or regretful about, like, that's the better you could have done at that time, right? Because that's who you were. That's how I was whenever I did things that I'm not proud of today, or I'm not proud of them. This is like not who I really want to be. And so, but that's cool. It made me who I am now. I was who I was. I am who I am, and this is where I stand now. So the word redemption this week is about really reclaiming now. Like, if you did something bad, like, let's do redemption on it, right? Like, let's move forward from it. You've paid it enough. You've paid it enough. And if you haven't, then do a one something little thing. Write a letter to somebody. Send a text. To yourself. Do something that helps you put that to rest. Like, I remember in high school, I could not find. There was like a couple of things that I did, and I think I made a bet one time with this girl, and that she wasn't going to. I forget what the bet was, but it was something silly, right? And I was gonna pay her something, and she actually did. She didn't do. I think it was like going out and getting drunk or something like that, right? And she didn't do it. I never paid her, and it's so silly, but I felt guilty about that. Um, and with my family, things that we feel guilty about and that we carry in our shoulders all the time, and it could be big things too, right? But I think just like that, this is the place right now to put this to rest. This is the place right now, like our permission right now to redeem ourselves, to reclaim back who is that I want to be, to reclaim it back. And so I want you to take some time to really think about things that you feel guilty about, things about that people think you should feel guilty about, and really start writing them down and like redeem yourself from it, reclaim for it. You know, if you're here, we've paid the price already, and if you want to do something extra about it, you can now. And so and then, if those who are telling you that it's not possible, that it's not possible to get out of this with medications, or that it's not possible to get out of this with whatever or ever, it is possible. The science shows us, medicine shows us, neuroscience shows us it is absolutely possible for you to dream like what this guy is doing there. And the other thing is that, if we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not growing, we're dying. So let's grow through this. Let's grow out of it. Whatever it is that we're feeling guilty about, let's grow out of it. So this was the frame for this week. So I want you to really think about things that you feel guilty about. And one of the biggest things that I felt guilty about was actually an abortion. And it was an early abortion. And I'm telling you, it's probably the first time I shared this in public. And it was really difficult. I beat myself up a lot about this. And it's taking me a lot of time to be able to forgive myself about it, to forgive myself about how that impacted other people, to forgive myself about where I was at that time in my life, to forgive myself and move forward. So if you have something like that that's dragging you back, let's redeem ourselves. Let's give ourselves permission today to put this to rest, so that we can start creating the redemption and being able to dream our equivalent of that guy's little hotel on the beach in the Atlantic, right? Because it's definitely possible. And this is a space where we can support each other to do that. So that's it for today. In the worksheet, you can fill out what you're working with, and if you have any comments, let us know. It's been a pleasure. Until the next module, take it easy. Bye bye.